Before we end, I also want to answer a few fan questions I saw and address them here. Now, I made the mistake in this post of having a SpongeBob joke reference in it that, if you've seen the essay episode of SpongeBob, then you know what I'm talking about here. But because of that, now everybody's just commenting about that instead of asking actual questions. But there's a couple of questions I did get, so I'm going to go over them in this section of the video now. So, yeah, note to self, don't make SpongeBob references in announcement posts where I want people to ask me questions. But anyways, let's go. So the first question I got was, when will Alex make a new show? And as I replied in that comment, the answer to that is frustratingly that I technically have an answer to that question, but I just cannot say it. Like I said earlier in the video, it's that Alex did talk to us about Untitled Alex Hirsch project and gave us a bit more insight into regards of what's going on with that. But yeah, I'm just not allowed to talk about it because it's all non-disclosure agreements, and even though I technically didn't sign an NDA with him, the fact that he told us this stuff wouldn't be good for him, I guess, in a sense, if someone was to start spilling the beans on it. So for that reason, I'm having to keep my lips sealed, and obviously I value Alex's trust more than getting a few likes and a couple of attention online and being like, oh hey, I'm the guy who knows about Untitled Alex Hirsch project and is spilling the beans on it. Like, yeah, that's a short-term fame, but in the long term, having Alex's trust in that regard is more valuable to me. And as painful as it is to keep this stuff hidden from all the fans out there, I have to stay true to my word. So I cannot tell anything about regards to what's going on Untitled Alex Hirsch project besides hopefully something one day will happen, but that's literally all I can say. Yeah, now I know what it feels like to be Edward Snowden. Okay, this question asks of how I was able to reach Alex and has he spoken with me and how reclusive is he, and well, again, I answered all that in the video, but again, just to reiterate, paraphrase it, Alex reached out to me first, and that was pretty much how we got into conversing and talking and eventually planning this interview out. In terms of how reclusive he is, well, I mean, as you probably have seen, Alex is no longer as active on Twitter anymore as he used to be, and Twitter is sort of the only real place you can get in touch with Alex. So, yeah, there's literally no other way to contact Alex besides Twitter, and he's no longer that active on there to begin with anymore, besides maybe occasionally liking a few tweets. And I don't blame him, to be honest, considering how Twitter is nowadays. Elon's completely ruined it, but, I guess to say that he's a bit more reclusive now than he used to be is probably a valid statement in that regard. I don't know, if you want to talk to Alex, that's pretty much the only way you can, but yeah, again, there's no real way it's going to happen unless you get lucky or, you get his attention and he DMs you in my case. So yeah, there's pretty much how that all happened. This one's asking, did he tell you about the book of Bill before it was announced? And yeah, again, he did tell us about the book of Bill. It was in the midst of us talking to him about when he would be able to get the transcript read through and send back to me and Hana. And yeah, he just dropped a couple of hints to the book of Bill to us. He sent us a couple of screenshots of photos of illustrations that are going to be in the book that I cannot share, obviously, painfully. But yeah, it's pretty cool what he sent, and I'm really excited for this book. It was so funny, having to be silent on the night the book was being revealed without being able to say exactly what it was, because I knew the exact time, the exact date, and exactly what Alex was going to reveal, and everybody was there guessing, oh, is this the art book, or is this some new book, or is this some new animation project with Gravity Falls he's doing, what is this going on? And there I am sitting there yeah, I know what it is, but I can't tell it because Alex told us to not say it. And at the end of the day, it was probably good I didn't say anything, though I think I got really close to hinting that I knew, but I don't know. At the end of the day, it's kind of funny how much trust Alex gave us into knowing all this stuff, and that he just trusted that these random fans that he interviewed would not spill any beans. And, of course, we're not idiots, so we didn't spill anything, but it's kind of funny how if Alex put his trust in the wrong type of Gravity Falls fan, some moron would probably have leaked this stuff by now if it was someone else. But luckily, I have a lot of respect for Alex, so, I was never going to do that. And neither will Hana, of course. They are also similarly dedicated and respectful fan. And at the end of the day, that's it. We didn't have any intention to ruin anything. We were just really happy to know this beforehand. And it's kind of funny to think that for months we were probably the only Gravity Falls fans in the world who knew about the Book of Bill. So, and the only Gravity Falls fans in the world who had ever seen anything from the Book of Bill, apart from maybe Jason Ritter, considering he is technically a huge Gravity Falls fan in real life. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. Okay, this person asked me in terms of does he prefer being a showrunner behind the scenes voice actor. That wasn't. I'm assuming this person thought that I was going to be asking questions in terms of like a follow-up interview with Alex, which I guess a lot of the other questions here are, but no, we didn't. I don't know what his answer in regards to whether he prefers being a showrunner or behind the scenes voice actor is, but considering he's done a lot of voice acting as of late, I guess probably that's what he likes. And in terms of the other question regarding Justin Roiland, to be honest, we did consider asking him that. There was at one point Hana and I thought about adding a question into the interview, not specifically directed towards Roiland, but asking him what his thoughts about working with people who later turned out to be problematic was. We ultimately just didn't get the time to ask that, and we also just decided, as much as we want to be critical with Alex about stuff about Gravity Falls, we want this to be a purely Gravity Falls fan project and not asking him, big controversial things like that. As much as I feel like he probably might have given us an answer to that, or he might have just asked us that it was not something that he wants to. And I mean, there is a mixed degree of people who want to know his thoughts on that, and people who wonder like what his opinion on it all is. But at the end of the day, that's not what my job was with this interview, and neither was that, I guess, of Hana as well. Neither of us wanted, to have that job at hand of asking him that question. I think that's something more a journalist or someone of a news media agency probably should ask him. It's not something that two fans should be asking, in my opinion. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know what his opinion on that regards is. But considering what I know in regards to him having unfollowed Roiland all the way back in 2020, and considering from what I know about, and having deleted tweets regarding him all the way back then as well, I think that Alex and Justin's relationship and friendship, whatever it was, it collapsed well before the allegations regarding him came out. And yeah, that's again, this is beyond my field of I guess, work and related to Gravity Falls. So I think that's something to be left to other people to ask him about. But yeah, that's what I got to say about that. Okay, this one asked me again. It's a Book of Bill related question. What was my reaction about the Book of Bill? I was shocked, honestly. I was surprised that there was even going to be more Gravity Falls books coming. Considering, I always thought that we'd never see anything else related to Gravity Falls in terms of books again, like considering the art book cancellation and stuff, or in terms of never even getting off the ground. So to have known that he was making more book related content to Gravity Falls was actually pretty exciting, and I'm really excited to see what happens with the Book of Bill soon. So yeah, really excited about that. I was so excited when he told us about it. He didn't specifically say that it was going to be a book, but I think we both figured out from just what he showed us what exactly it was going to be. So that was fun. In terms of what his inspiration for the Book of Bill was, what idea on it was, we never really got a chance to ask him about that, and we never really ended up having the time to ask him that. We did try to get him to talk about the Book of Bill, but he was too busy at the time, so unfortunately that's never going to happen. Who knows, maybe in a follow-up interview that he does with another news agency, they might ask him that, though, considering how other media companies are regarding Gravity Falls. They're probably just going to ask him, is Bill Cipher alive, or is Matt Pat theory true or not, questions, which, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think there's better questions that you could ask Alex besides that, considering what we did in our interview. That's my opinion on that. Okay, how did you decide that you specifically needed Hana? Like, did they just click to you that there was something, or was this? Okay, is asking in terms of like why I got Hana on the project. Again, I mentioned it in the video, but basically, like, we were talking originally, we were talking about collaborating on some videos for their channel, and I mentioned the Alex Hirsch interview. I was like, hey, do you have any questions that you might want to ask Alex? And they sent me a huge list of questions, which was very different to the type of questions that I was wanting to ask Alex. And considering Hana's more Tumblr side of the Gravity Falls fandom, which is a lot different to the side of the Gravity Falls fandom than I am part of, I saw this as an opportunity to bridge the gap between the two sides of the fandom and ask Alex questions that, it might not have been something that I would have considered asking. And quite frankly, I don't think I could have done justice to Hana's list of questions at all. And I figured instead of me trying to do justice on that, let Hana do it and have them decide from the questions what they want to ask Alex. And that's how we started collaborating on this project. And again, like I said in the video, like I'm glad I brought Hana on because they brought to the table so much regarding to the journalist type of field and overall in terms of the editing and transcript creating and overall everything part of this interview that I just didn't have the expertise on, and I'm so grateful to them in that regard. It literally is saying like this interview would not have been as good as it did if it wasn't for Hana. Like they literally are. I might have be the one who got this entire project going, but they're the reason that it went so smoothly. Like if it was me who was making this interview, it'd probably be like a pothole filled bumpy road, but they steamrolled it into perfection as it was and how I see it. And yeah, I couldn't have done this without Hana. I'm really happy to have had them on this project. Okay, this person asking if we could have asked him about the Super Mario movie and stuff and his role in that. Again, like this is a specifically Gravity Falls focused interview, so that was not something we were ever going to ask him. That was never even something on the table of questions that we were going to ask him. So, sorry about that, but this is Gravity Falls specific, so there's that. Okay, this person's asking if we could release footage regarding us finding out about the Book of Bill. Unfortunately, that is not in the interview. Alex told us about the Book of Bill all the way in August of a month afterwards, in August of 2023, and the interview happened in July of 2023, and that was through emails. So there is no footage of us actually reacting to Alex's announcement about it. I just have messages in terms of like Hana messaging me being like, dude, you got to see what Alex just emailed us, and like, oh my god, this is insane. And I guess that's pretty much as close to a reaction as you could say we have still on record of that. But sorry about that. But yeah, I wish we did record that, or if Alex did tell us that, I would have for sure included in this video. But yeah, he just didn't tell us that beforehand. But even if he did, like, of course, we wouldn't have been able to put it in the main interview. Well, I guess now we could have, but at the time, considering we thought the interview would be out a lot sooner, Oh god, this interview has taken so long to come out. Okay, this person's asking again about if Alex is working on anything else besides the Book of Bill, and again, yeah, until Alex Hirsch project and whatever other projects he's working on with other people. But again, that's stuff that I'm not really capable of talking about in detail here, so sorry about that. I also asked the folks on my Discord server to send questions regarding if they have anything about the interview. So here's what they asked: Does Alex have any anime that he prefers? I don't know. I didn't ask Alex regarding anime, so I can't really give an answer to regards to that. So sorry about that. How much does Alex value Wendy as a main character? Well, let's just say that from the stuff that I had to cut from the interview, it seems that Alex is really trying to make amends in regards to, the stuff that, the neglect of Wendy, but it's just that there's a lot of stuff that he said that he mentioned in regards to, like, he wants to maybe one day make it into a reality, so because of that, I'm not really able to share what those details regarding what he thinks about Wendy there is, but I do feel like he does have more value for Wendy, or he always did, but he just never had the time or capability of putting it in the show that might have worked. But yeah, it seems like Alex does have something he wants to cook up with Wendy regarding Wendy, but who knows when that will happen. So there's that. Then okay, you got 3 questions here. How did you and Hana not freak out at the start when you saw him in the Zoom call video chat talking to you both? Well, I guess we tried to remain as professional as we possibly could, and also I think if we both started screaming simultaneously when Alex joined the Zoom call, his eardrums probably would have bled out, and he would have left the call instantly, and then that would have been it. He'd be like, "You guys are crazy. We're not interviewing you." I mean, I don't think he would have actually done that, but I think we had a lot of hype already built up for the interview, and then the back and forth in regards to the schedule changes and stuff. It kind of made us a bit numbed towards the hype to the point where, like, we were still excited about interviewing Alex, but by that point, it was kind of like, okay, this is finally happening. Okay, let's just get this over with. And then afterwards, as you know, the realization hit in that, oh my God, we interviewed Alex Hirsch. That just built up, and then we ultimately were able to let it all out after he left the call, and we were able to just scream into our mics and cut each other out because going with the mics going at max volume. So yeah, I guess that's in regards to that sense, like our ultimate end reception in regards to that. What was your favorite part of the interview that unfortunately had to be cut out? Well, I mean, alongside the Untitled Alex Hirsch project part, which we knew was probably going to be cut, it was the stuff about headhunters in regards to what Alex talking about, what it was like working with Larry King, Coolio, and who was the other guy? John Oliver. And he gave some pretty interesting and gave a pretty interesting answer in regards to that, but for some reason he had us cut it out, and I don't know why he did, but yeah, unfortunately that's never probably going to be heard by the masses, and I'm so sad about that because he's shared so many cool stories regarding those guys. It's like, oh my God, it makes me miss Coolio so much. He would have been so cool with more roles on Gravity Falls if he was down for that. Oh wait, that's a scratch that. That was not supposed to. I did not meant to say that. Would you prefer to hear the book of Bill when it was made public in December, or do you prefer to know of its existence plus some behind the scenes in July? Yeah, it was really hard to keep that secret. We were able to hold on. To be honest, personally, I'm kind of glad we did know about the Book of Bill. It kind of gave us a secret bragging right that we were able to hold on to. And it was kind of funny how much power he kind of gave us in that regard. But, you know, in the end of the day, like, I think it was fun to be able to have the knowledge of the Book of Bill and kind of be like this insider of knowledge that we couldn't tell anybody, but we had to keep private for so long. At the end of the day, I think even though Alex already told us everything we needed to know in regards to what was going to happen, he still gave us a lot of surprises on the day the book was announced because, you know, there was the fact that, you know, he did it on the Oregon Parks Department Twitter account, which was something that we did not know was going to happen. And he also announced 2 versions of the book, like, you know, the signed exclusive edition for Barnes & Nobles and the regular version. So that was a surprise as well that we didn't know about. So I guess in that sense, Alex didn't tell us everything that we needed to know about the Book of Bill, so it was still a surprise for us both. But in terms of the main knowledge of the book coming out, yeah, I'm kind of glad that we found out about that. I don't regret having to have known about that for 5 months, and quite frankly, I'm okay with that. Like, I think that either way, it was gonna be okay, and yeah. And at the end of it all, I am just glad that it ultimately ended up going the way it did. I have no regrets about that. It was great to have known that for 5 months, and you know, me and Hana were able to, you know, talk to each other about it and be like, oh my God, what's gonna happen here? Oh, this is so crazy. So yeah, there's that. At the end of the day, like, yeah, we managed. I guess that's probably the best thing to say. And then, is Alex still working on Netflix? Yeah, he's still working on Netflix, and his Untitled show is still in development hell. It's just that we're probably not going to hear anything from him unless something happens with it. So, yeah, that's going to be a while, if anything ever going to happen. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's pretty much all the questions that people sent me for the Alex Hirsch interview. I kind of wish there were more questions, considering a lot of them were pretty questions that I already answered. But then at the same time, you know, this video isn't out yet. I'm basing this off assumptions that people might be thinking. So, I guess, you know, at the end of the day, I always enjoy answering questions regarding this stuff, so I don't mind telling this stuff. So, yeah, thanks to everybody who submitted a question, and I think considering the length of this video recording segment, I'm going to make this a separate video instead of putting it in the actual behind-the-scenes interview video. So, yeah, I think this is going to be part 2 or whatever of the Q&A section of the Alex Hirsch interview video. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and bye. Oh yeah, there's another behind-the-scenes related story to the Alex Hirsch interview coming real soon, so stay tuned for that. Someone's asking here, is this a behind-the-scenes picture, a behind-the-scenes script of a behind-the-scenes video? Yes, it is. It is a behind-the-scenes photo of a behind-the-scenes script for a behind-the-scenes video. Pretty funny. A lot of behind-the-scenes-ception going on there.